Welcome to An Adventure Knocks, and today we'll be looking at the 10 best places and experiences for a visit to Jordan based on my own trip in the autumn. Number 10. Snorkel or dive in the Red Sea. The Red Sea is home to several large objects such as planes and army tanks that have been sunken a short distance from the coastline, making a dive or a snorkel trip here pretty unique. This may have rated higher on my list had I not suffered from seasickness on the boat, so I'd recommend taking seasickness tablets before setting sail if you think that you might suffer too. Number 9. Take a cooking class. We chose to do this at Petra Kitchen, minutes away from the entrance to the ancient site of Petra, as these were ran in the evenings. We learnt how to make 3 cold meze dishes, 1 hot meze, a soup and a main course too. The whole experience was guided by a highly knowledgeable chef who wowed us with his abilities and really appreciated our sense of humour.
Oh yeah.
Getting to work in a professional kitchen was exciting and a bit of a learning curve.
Oh.
Okay. That.
Oh, no.
Shit.
I can't do it.
No, you have to push it in quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know how to close the oven door.
Getting to eat our own creations afterwards was delicious, except maybe for the mortebal, with its slightly charred taste, as I did not do a great job of peeling the skin off of the aubergines. Number 8. Visit the ancient city of Jerash. Argued to be one of the best preserved and largest Roman sites in the world, outside of Italy of course. It's home to hilltop temples, a handful of beautifully ornate theatres, paved and colonnaded streets, plazas, a hippodrome, and impressive entrance gates to name but a few. It's just north of Amman, so easy to do as a day trip, and if you have the Jordan Pass, entry is free. Number 7. Experience the Dead Sea. It's technically speaking a lake, and it's one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth. It makes it impossible to sink, so it's a unique experience to go floating in the water. The high salt and mineral content of the water and mud, which is a popular thing to smear across your skin, is known for its powerful healing properties, helping to treat a multitude of skin problems. I'd recommend staying at a resort hotel with beach access, as these come with helpful amenities such as showers to rid the salt after your float, alternative pools to take a dip in, and fabulous restaurants which, outside the hotels, tend to be few and far between in this area. Number 6. Hike through Petra. The ancient site of Petra is huge and should not be underestimated. Whilst there are options to take a golf cart through the Sick to the treasury, camels from the treasury to the basin, and donkeys from the basin up to the monastery, for me, hiking the site was what added to the experience. There are several trails to choose from. Some aren't even marked on maps but are obvious when walking on them, such as this path by the church. And I especially loved the walk along the Al-Kubtha trail away from the crowds, which ended with a spectacular view down onto the treasury, and no need for a guide to lead us there either. Then there's the well-known but lesser used Adair trail that leads you up to the monastery. Keep walking just that little bit further again and you'll get to World's End with stunning cliff-top views. It's history and hiking all in one. Number 5. Hike and swim through Wadi Mujib. Frustratingly, I lost my footage from this activity, but in a nutshell, you start walking up the wadi, but in parts you must climb waterfalls using ropes and ladders, and at other parts the water's so deep you must swim. It's a true adventure and it's located just south of the Dead Sea Resort hotels. Number 4. Sample the food. Food in Jordan is amazing, no matter whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner or snacks. I tried dabbling in a little bit of everything from buffets to sit-down table service restaurants, cafes, street food, food from bakeries, and even eating hot, freshly cooked foods on a picnic rug in the desert. I found the food in Amman to be wonderfully affordable, drawing the assumption that prices were not hiked up for the tourist market, whereas in Petra and the Red Sea, I saw prices that were similar to those in the UK. Our meals at the Dead Sea and in Wadi Rum were included as part of a package deal. I found that if wanting to try a multitude of meze dishes, our hotel's buffet was the most cost-effective way to go, and the ones that we ate at surprisingly didn't compromise on quality. We saved table service places for a single main course dish. In Amman, I would highly recommend Al-Quds for takeaway falafel panini, Hashem for falafels, hummus, flatbread and veggies, Habiba Sweets for kunafe, a sweet dessert that's made of cheese, and Sufra for a fancy higher end meal. The sheep's bone meze plate here was surprisingly delicious and comes highly recommended by me. Number 3, get chatting to the locals. Jordanian people are some of the friendliest and most welcoming people that I've had the joy of meeting in my travels to date. Amman was especially so. The further from the tourist path that you go, and when you wander into the places that usually only locals frequent, the opportunity to engage with locals, at least for us, increased significantly. We found that the fruit and vegetable souk and the square outside of Habiba Sweets were absolute gems for meeting local people. We found that more people in Jordan had an excellent grasp of the English language than those who did not, though of course making the effort with Arabic words is always a crowd pleaser. Number 2, explore modern day Amman. As a visitor from the UK, everything about the modern day parts of Amman felt like a huge culture shock, but in the best possible way. There was the wall-to-wall lined jewellery shops and the gold souk, the fruit and veg souk where fish was still alive, nuts were being roasted and whole animal carcasses being butchered. There was the butcher's shop that seemed to sell everything about a sheep except for the actual meat. And then the already mentioned friendliness of the locals, the buzzing squares, the unusual things found out on the streets, the gorgeous colours found on Rainbow Street from the lanterns to street art, and again, the already mentioned food. Amman was just a party for the senses from start to finish. Before I go on to reveal my favourite experience in Jordan, there's a few honourable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. Petra by night, I think, is one of those experiences which, if you're already there and it's happening on the day that you're there and you can afford the ticket, go experience it. It was unique and not something that could be done anywhere else in the world, so for that reason, I'm pleased that I went, but I probably wouldn't repeat the experience again. Next, there's Rome and Amman. It's not quite as impressive as the already mentioned Jerash or Petra, but easily accessed on foot in the heart of the capital city is a citadel sat on top of Jabal al-Kala'ah. Inside is the Temple of Hercules, a Byzantine church, cistern, baths, and a Umayyad palace complex. The views from here look down onto the Roman theatre, which is a short, easy downhill wander away, though climbing back up the steps in the theatre is a whole other kettle of fish. Next door to the theatre is its smaller sibling, the Odeon, and a few columns left of what was once the Forum. A short walk from here is also the Nymphaeum. The final honourable mention goes to Wadi Ghuweir. It deserves a shout out as it's a stunning hike through what begins as an arid desert canyon, but then the deeper that you go, the greener it becomes until you get to a point where you are in a full-on, luscious oasis. And finally, in at number 1, explore the Wadi Rum desert. Our experience in Wadi Rum was exceptional, yet very back to basics from start to end. We were in the desert for 48 hours and booked a package deal through the Wadi Rum Quiet Village camp. The package covered everything that we needed, from transport on a 4x4 truck, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and unlimited water, a warm and comfortable traditional Bedouin tent, a clean and practical communal shower and toilet block. But the real highlight was the combination of our own personal guide and the gems that the desert had to offer. We visited well-known attractions in the desert such as the Khazali Canyon, the rock arches and bridges, the sand dunes, the Abu Khashiba Canyon, Jabal al-Hash, Amazing, laid back picnic lunches that were cooked by our guide, fresh for us. We learnt how to make a fire in the desert and to be able to brew our own Bedouin tea with the help of our trusty guide. And those sunsets, they were gorgeous. Do you agree with the attractions and activities that made it onto this list, or would you swap any for something else? Be sure to let me know in the comments. If you feel that this video has been helpful or just enjoyable, I'd be most grateful if you could hit that like button, or you might even be interested in my Jordan travel vlog series, so do feel free to click on the playlist to find out more.